from fans. Gather around. It said I, whatever will be, will be. Alright, so as I'm recording this video, we are only 29 days away from the premiere of season 4 of the series. Now, if you watch From, you already know there are a lot more questions right now than there are answers on this series. 3 seasons in, and in the words of the main character himself, we still don't know the goddamn rules. What really are these creatures that are terrorizing the town? Who is the man in yellow? Who is the boy in white? Why do the people who get trapped in Fromville end up trapped? And the biggest question I'm sure that's on a lot of fans' mind is, why is this even happening to these people? I'm one of those fans that got a lot more questions and answers too. So what I'm trying to do is go ahead and rewatch this series from top to bottom. Refamiliarize myself with what is going on in this universe. Try to go into season 4 as prepared as possible. I've been watching theory videos ahead of my rewatch. I just got my MGM Plus subscription and I'm ready to lock in. Just so y'all know what I'm doing ahead of time, right? I'm watching these episodes. I'm trying to watch an episode a day. I'm gonna get y'all recaps hopefully daily. More than likely won't be as long as this video is probably gonna be. They'll just recap the episode and I'll talk about some thoughts that I gained as I was watching the episode. And hopefully y'all can interact with me. Y'all give y'all questions, y'all theories on what happened in the episode and where y'all think we are going heading into From season 4. That said, I'm about to get to yapping about From episode 1 real quick. So if you like anything I say all in the video, if you're a fan of From, y'all already know what y'all gotta do. Like, comment, share, subscribe, follow if you want TikTok. Let's get into the From talk. So first and foremost, as I said earlier, I've been watching a lot of theory videos. Refresh my memory on exactly what happened by the end of season 3 of From. One of the channels I've been watching who covers From, Mordecai Screens It All. Y'all go subscribe to him. Provided a list of episodes across these 3 seasons that is being recommended us fans rewatch ahead of season 4. This is all well and good. I appreciate this little reference right here. And I'm definitely going to be paying special attention to these episodes. But as he said in his own video, based on what I said in this video, considering the fact that From has a lot more questions than answers, you probably better off just rewatching the series if you go keep it a bean. Let's actually talk about this episode real quick. Start off with Boyd ringing the bell, letting everybody in town know that they got to get back to their cribs. It's about to get dark. The From demons is going to come out. When they come outside, that's the last place you want to be. Everybody clears the streets, leaves certain establishments that they in, see patients being put to bed, and we see these talismans that are all around these buildings that we know protect the people in Fromville from these demons that walk at night. Our boys cleaning up the streets, we go to this bar and see that this man named Frank is laid out. Boy didn't sip too much of that Henny. The bartender's trying to get him up out of there. He's not going. He lets him stay at the shop at the night, much to this man, his wife, and his daughter. Go to their crib, the daughter gets to praying, hears a knock at her window. On the 2nd floor, mind you, the lady outside talking about she's her grandma that don't look like her grandma, confirmed by the daughter. The mom just let her open the window. I say let her open the window because you had time to grab that child before she did that. Obviously, this is a way for the series to set up the stakes of these From demons and show that they are not messing around. See the next day when Frank gets home that his daughter and wife are opened up with nothing inside them. Their faces remain intact. You can see the absolute terror in those faces after the From demons did what they did to them. Boyd, who's the sheriff of his town, lets him hear. Tells his deputy Kenny to lock him up while he figures out what to do with him. And he notices as he's leaving the crib that the talisman that was protecting their house is now on the floor. More on that later. Now, earlier on this episode, we see Boyd looking at Colony House, which is right here, through his binoculars, and we find out that his son is actually staying here. He's painting some fine shit named Fatma. Boyd goes to go visit him, and we see that they have some beef that I'm forgetting why they even have beef to begin with. I would have guessed, though, I think it would have something to do with the fact that Boyd took out his mother. And let's just hasn't come to grips with that just yet. Just guess. All this is happening. We see the Matthews family get introduced. They're going on vacation or coming back from vacation. It really don't matter what they do because they end up running into that tree in the road. And when you run into that tree in the road, bad things are bound to happen. You're essentially introduced to Fromville right then and there. They go into the town and see the funeral being held for the mother and daughter. Jim, the father of the Matthews family, goes out to ask some questions, but nobody's trying to answer. Boyd tells them, me and Kenny got this. So they get to talking. Boyd tells him, yo, if you keep going up the road, you'll find a highway to get up out of here. Obviously, he's lying to him, but he's trying to get him to ease into the craziness that is Fromville. Because there's no way to explain, oh yeah, y'all are gonna keep on going. Yeah, I just keep ending up in this town. Like, nobody who's just coming to Fromville for the first time is going to believe that. You gotta see it for yourself. Kay said I. Come back in the town one more time, and Sarah, someone from the town, talks to her brother Nathan about it. She said that's the saddest part, just seeing them continue to spin back, thinking they're going somewhere when the whole time they're going to end up right back here. It's tragic. See, it's only after the second rotation that Boyd and Kenny decide to put out the spikes in the street. But the next time they come around, they could stop and they could explain exactly what's going on in the town. Unfortunately for them, they end up running into Jade and his man, whose name I'm not remembering right now. He swerves out the street because both of them in the other car are drunk. So the Matthew family end up turned over in their RV. Tabitha's knocked out. Ethan got a pipe in his leg. Jim is restrained by this branch that came through the RV. Boyd and Kenny already started laying out the spikes, but that's when Jade's friend comes into the town. Lets him know that there's been an accident. So then Boyd and Kenny go out there. Christy, who is an EMT, who's also watching over Kenny's father, got some type of dementia thing. I'm not really sure what it is that he's suffering from. Doesn't really matter because he dies in the next episode. And they see the wreck now. Thankfully, Boyd's able to help majority of the family out the car. Unfortunately, though, Ethan cannot move because his leg is literally stuck. With only 2 hours till sundown, they don't have no time to really explain the situation. They just got to get Tabitha and Julie into town. Jim chooses to stay with Boyd and Christy, who are going to free Ethan's leg overnight with this extra talisman that Boyd just pulls out his pants conveniently. While Kenny, alongside Patrick Cotchery and Boyd's son Ellis, take Tabitha, Julie, and Jade, who's in the car with dude that came into town to tell Boyd and Kenny that there was an accident, back into town into Colony House. Now, unfortunately for them, Kenny forgot that he put the spikes in the streets, so they run over the spikes and now they're on foot to Colony House, which, as I said in my last short, is about 2 football fields away from the town, so they gotta make a little trek. Meanwhile, while Christy's working to get Ethan's leg free, Boyd sets up the talisman and has questions on why he's doing this. We quickly find out when we see the From Demons outside of the RV, ending the episode. Man, I forgot how great that first episode was. Being that this is a rewatch for me, I've taken notes as I watch the episode, and I'm going to do that as I progress through this rewatch. I'll rap to y'all about questions that I gathered as I was watching and thoughts that I got on my rewatch that I didn't have in my initial watch. First thing I took note of was the Matthews family's first interaction in this episode. We got Julie telling Ethan a story about the existence of monsters and the concept of death, both being real things that he's just gonna have to accept come with life. That's when Mama Tabitha comes in, rewriting the story that Julie told, telling him that monsters don't exist and that one friend that the monster Julie told him about took out actually survived. So y'all good to keep on playing. This first interaction really sets up these 3 characters in the future of the series, with Julie becoming this story walker as Ethan proclaimed her to be in season 3. Ethan talking about stories every 5 seconds throughout these 3 seasons of From. Tabitha's importance of being the motherly figure who was reincarnated from Miranda, somebody who lived in Fromville a long time ago. To see Tabitha providing Ethan with a more hopeful narrative than the one Julie told him. You know, hope is what keeps Boyd and the townsfolk believing that they will escape from Fromville one of these days. I also found interesting though is that Jim isn't really a part of this interaction at all. We know what happened to Jim by the end of season 3. We know Jade is going to become more important because he is the reincarnation of Christopher, who was with Miranda back in the day. What does this mean? We gotta see. Before I get back to the talisman talk, I do want to talk about the fact that it was 96 days since the last accident in Fromville. Pretty sure we're never going to find out what happened in that time span where it was seemingly peace times in Fromville. For Frank to have 96 days presumably and not nail down those windows is crazy work, but it also shows how opportunistic these From monsters are, always waiting for the opportunity to hold somebody. Speaking of hold somebody, Boyd is constantly held by these monsters as the series progresses, specifically in season 3 when they get to turning up. Getting back to the talismans, I'm wondering if the From monster who took out the mother and daughter in this episode left that talisman on the floor to show Boyd they're not going to hold this back for much longer. I also wanted to know, is there a talisman in every building in Fromville? How many talismans are there? How are they made? Where did they come from? Are there ingredients to make these talismans? How can you just have replicas? Like, did they all come in a box? We need these answers in season 4. After the Matthews run into the tree in the road, Julie and Ethan have another conversation where she basically tells him that a herd of crows is actually a murder of crows. That this murder will not stop until they hunt and kill you. Because if you encounter them, you are now their next victim. Kay said I, said I. Almost as if she's been to Fromville already and knows what to expect in this town. I also find it funny that Tabitha thought that she was calming Ethan down. I mean, she succeeded in doing that, but telling him that she actually thought that the crows were ravens and that a herd of ravens is called an unkindness of ravens. First of all, what is positive about an unkindness? I immediately had to look up an unkindness of ravens because I never heard that before. And when I did, so there's actually a book called Unkindness of Ravens by a British crime writer named Ruth Rendell that was first published in 1985. Is there significance to this here and From? We gotta wait and see. The genre of this book is murder mystery, by the way. And apparently Lucas Scott wrote a book of the same title in One Tree Hill. So shout out to him, big up One Tree Hill. One thing I noticed while watching is the hope that exudes from Boyd, Christy, Kenny, Father Cotchery, etc. when they're helping Jim and Jade's group out respectively. Even knowing they only got 2 hours till sundown, even with the accident that happened the night before, they still believe they could save everybody. It's crazy that this same hope is constantly dissipated on a season-to-season basis as we gain more of an understanding of what's going on in Fromville. One more notes I had, Kenny asks, will this even work when Boyd pulls out the talisman? Put up in an RV while they're helping out Ethan. Which tells me they've never used a talisman outside the town before today. We see this tested later on in the season when Boyd and Sarah go out into the woods. In the tent that they're in, and the tent only gets dragged, but they manage to survive. I want to know, what was the significance of the dude that pulled up with Jade? Sarah literally kills him in this very episode. Did Jade need him to die to really lock it and understand what's going on in Fromville? After bringing up their other child, Thomas, who died in the past. This episode, and being that this is one of the episodes that we're supposed to focus on, Season 4 tells me he's going to be relevant in the future of this series. Ethan ironically waking up and seizing as the From Demons are pulling up on the RV. That can't be a coincidence. Damn, man, 10 minutes on just the first episode alone is crazy. If you made it to this point in the video, leave a case said I in the comments. I'm so glad I finally be doing this rewatch. I hope I get some interaction with y'all on this series. I think there's a lot of great theories out there and a lot of great conversation to have before season 4 comes out next month. I'm about to tap into episode 2 so I can get y'all that video later today. Till then, I'm gonna catch you next time. Peace.